An old abandoned house deep in the woods. The kind of place nightmares are made of.
I've never seen it, and I've been here almost 25 years. I never knew it was there.
22-year-old Cati Blauvelt and her friends used to hang out in a place like this for fun when they were kids. But now the fun times for her are over for good. She's here in the cellar where her friends find her, brutally stabbed, and left to die alone in terror.
I don't know what she went through. Just imagining the pain, what she must have been screaming for him to stop.
And now her estranged husband has disappeared into thin air. And what's worse, cops say he's taken 17-year-old Hannah Thompson with him, virtually a child who nobody has heard from in weeks.
I can't believe this is happening to my family. I would have never seen this coming.
Do you think Hannah is in any danger?
Probably. We consider him extremely dangerous.
The marriage of John and Cati Blauvelt is barely 2 months old when trouble invades their home at Fountain Inn, South Carolina. 28-year-old John is an Army veteran who works as a recruiter at local high schools. He has a young daughter from a previous relationship who lives with her mother. And he first meets Cati where she works at a restaurant near his office.
She loved him so much and wanted to be a family with him and his young daughter.
But cops say John is also recruiting minors to attend regular parties at his house. Among the first people to alert them to the underage partying are the parents of 17-year-old Hannah Thompson. They are worried about their daughter and want her home.
A lot of the kids that Hannah was hanging around were hanging out at his house.
Police pay a visit to the house, and sure enough, that very night, there's a party going on.
There were some minors in the house and some others that were 17 or older.
Hannah herself has just turned 17.
By South Carolina state law, she was an adult technically, but we wanted to make sure that she was okay.
Did you charge John Blauvelt with anything?
Yes, he was subsequently charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor, several counts, because there was alcohol and marijuana being provided to the kids by John Blauvelt.
But soon after that, Cati shows up at the police station with a surprise. She's carrying a .357 Magnum. She says it's John's gun, and says he aimed that powerful weapon straight at her head with a terrifying threat.
According to her statement, he pointed the gun at her and said that he would kill her, and then he pointed the gun at himself and said that he would kill himself. And then he left the residence, telling her that he would kill everybody that she knew.
Now police book John on a domestic violence charge. Cati has already moved out of the house, back to her mother's place.
I was just so glad to have her back again and try to have a mother-daughter bond and do things with her, go to the movies and just hang out.
John is shortly out of jail on bond pending a trial on his charges. There is a no-contact order between him and Cati. And Patricia Piver says her daughter is happy to comply.
Was Cati planning to get divorced? Did she want to reconcile?
She'd asked me to help her find lawyers and look them up and try to find somebody to get a divorce.
So she had it with John, that was it?
Oh yeah, she'd had it with him.
And that's the way things stay. Until the day 6 months later when Cati suddenly goes missing. Her friends, sensing foul play, immediately begin searching for her. One of the places they search long past midnight is the old abandoned house, out in the woods in nearby Simpsonville, where they used to explore as children. In the cellar, they notice a pile of construction debris on the floor, but something about it doesn't look right. So they check underneath. In a horrific discovery, they find their longtime friend lifeless on the floor, stabbed multiple times and left to die in this dark and foreboding place. They make a 911 call, heard for the first time on national television here on Crime Watch Daily.
EMS fire. My friend, she's been missing for, I think, 30 hours now, and we found her in the bottom part in the basement, covered up with pieces of wood.
Was she still alive?
No, sir. No response.
So she was pale and unresponsive?
Yes.
I couldn't understand why anybody could be so evil as to do this to her. She was so pure and so innocent. In the mortuary, the man told us it took them 5 hours to fix her up, to make her presentable. And it still didn't look like her. The makeup they used was so dark, and they said they had to do that to cover up everything that was done to her. I just want her back. When I was in the mortuary, I told her I just wanted to take her home because she was so cold. And I just wanted to lay her in her bed and put my arms around her, keep her warm. But I'd never get that chance.
What are you feeling right now?
She shouldn't be gone. She didn't deserve it. All she wanted to do was be loved.
Cops begin their investigation of the killing with a visit to the house of John Blauvelt. And surprise, not only do they find John, they find him with 17-year-old Hannah Thompson, the young woman whose parents first complained about the underage partying at his house.
John Blauvelt is served a search warrant.
And Hannah was with him. She and John Blauvelt had both been asked questions about Katie's murder.
After talking with John and Hannah, police continue their investigation for over 2 weeks before taking the next big step. They charge John Blauvelt in the murder of his wife. But cops now believe John saw his arrest coming. He is gone and not to be found. And to make matters worse, he's taken young Hannah Thompson with him.
Her parents came to us again and said that they had reason to believe that she had left with John Blauvelt, and that they had been receiving texts from a burner phone that was identified as Hannah, but we really don't know who's sending those text messages because they have not spoken to her.
We love her and we want her to come home. And there are so many people out there that are praying for her.
Next, police mount a desperate manhunt for John Blauvelt, racing against the clock and hoping that this vulnerable young woman does not share the same fate as his murdered wife.
Do you think she's in danger?
Katie was his wife, so I don't think it's a leap to think that potentially this child is in similar danger.